Yo, San Jose State gets their first FBS victory of the season. They get their first conference win of the season, and it just feels like it's their first win in a really long time after a couple of difficult weeks for the team. 35-28 victory over the University of New Mexico, which many were calling the hottest team in the Mountain West. San Jose State gets a huge weight off their back, going 1-4 in the 2 road games. That would be a very challenging task moving forward, but they go 2-3. Obviously, you don't want to lose on the road in these next 2 games, but I mean, it feels like you can afford a loss. So they put themselves in a good position there. I don't want to harp too much on me. We recap the team here. You know, that's what we recap the team here, or at least we try to. But I said in the most recent video that I thought San Jose State was going to lose tonight, and the number one reason I gave was the pass rush for New Mexico was just too much. They were coming off 9 sacks against New Mexico State. Boy, was I proven wrong. The offensive line tonight they played out of their minds. Walker Eget, and we can get to him in a second, but the reason he was able to have such a perfect game tonight is how clean he was in the pocket for so long. They were without their starting guard tonight, Daniel Maloney. Tyler Chen hops right in there. And there was one play in particular, I believe it was the play, I'm not sure if it was to Kyrie Scholes down the field in the third quarter, or if it was one to Danny Scudero down the field in the third quarter. It was not the Scudero for a touchdown, but it was the other one that went for about 30-ish yards. And he was lined up right across directly with Keyshawn James newbie. Tyler Chen was, and just blocked him beautifully one-on-one. And that allowed for Walker to get some time and throw that deep ball down for the offensive line tonight. Just did a great job. A couple of very small penalties, obviously not great, but what a great job by the offensive line. I will be the first to admit my wrongs, and they shut me up. Great game by them tonight. And then we can get into Walker Eget. What a game. What a game. What a game. The first 2 weeks of the season, many were saying, why is Tom Amasoni only in here front play? Let's get him throwing. Let's see what we have. Walker Eget settled in perfectly these past couple of weeks. I'll do a video later in the week because I do want to see the comparison to just what it takes to wait just a couple of weeks, you know. He did not get the record. If he had one more completion tonight, he would have had the record at San Jose State for the best completion percentage in a single game. I think he finishes tonight with 86%. The record's 87%. It's something just like he barely missed it, you know. But just a great, efficient game from Walker. He had some luck in there too. He'll be the first to tell you. I mean, the touchdown that barely bobbles into Matthew Coleman's hands. There was a slant in route on an RPO to Danny Scudero that got bobbled out. Maybe pass interference on that play, but point being, there was some luck, but at the end of the day, it was a lot of talent. Beautiful deep balls down the field, but some weren't connecting in the latter half of last year, at the beginning of this year. Walker Eget has hit his stride, and it's been really beautiful to see. He is the man to command this team. It's evident to see. And it was really evident when you see players like Danny Scudero have over 150 yards, and it doesn't feel like he had over 150 yards, and maybe that can be attributed to the run game tonight. We'll get to that in a second, but another huge game for him, probably on track for all-conference, potentially on track for All-American. You never know, but he's on a very good trajectory right now, and good to see him get a touchdown tonight. And I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like every time Kyrie Scholes got the ball, it was on an out route, the exact same out route, and they were not able to stop at those boundary corners. Leland Smith curl route was not able to stop. Leland Smith curl routes, those players and those exact routes, they were not able to stop. And then you have big shots to Danny Scudero, and you have, like I said, a big shot to Kyrie Scholes at one point. Very well executed game plan tonight by the San Jose State offense. And all of this was possible also because of the run game. Coming to the night, you know Jabari Bates is out for the season now. That's been confirmed. We knew he was out for tonight. He is going to be out for the season. Floyd Chalk, you go to your game, you buy the ticket, you go sit down. What is Floyd Chalk doing next to me in the stands, dressed in street clothes, you know? How is this a thing? He's probably going to redshirt and be out for the rest of the season. And in that case, then he'd most likely transfer. A point being, there is no Floyd Chalk stepping in through the door with lots of collegiate experience. It is Lamar Radcliffe, who everyone's been very optimistic about and looked very good here tonight. But the 3-star prospect, true freshman, Steve Chavez Soto. The streets will not forget what Steve Chavez Soto did on October 3rd, 2025. They will not forget his 2-touchdown performance for more than 70 yards in his first professional game. It was great to see. He was clearly a spark plug that the team needed. It was great to see him get a couple first downs in a game. you talk about that too. Last week against Stanford, they have a really big drive where they need, and obviously things are a little bit different with the kicker situations and having certain confidence levels, but he, in a must first down needed drive, they get down the field and Steve Chavez gives him a huge first down. He converts on multiple touchdowns tonight. I mean, just great performance from the true freshman in his first collegiate game. You love to see it. Who are we going to talk about next? The defensive line. I said also in the preview, I was not concerned about Jack Lane. He made a couple of okay throws in his most recent game against New Mexico State, but he just didn't really impress. And there were a couple of times in this game where the pocket was clean and he would jump and throw. It was a little peculiar to see, but for the most part, all his completions were really open. You know, it's because the receivers got separation. He was able to just fling it in there a little bit. But when he was not, it's because the pressure was there. 4 sacks tonight. Nafafunga looked great. Jeramo, true freshman, another true freshman. This team has some true freshmen that have been producing this season. Also want to talk about that in an upcoming video about how Kenny Matalo has had no choice but to use more freshmen this season, and he is one that has been perfectly placed. It's like he's the nose tackle that gets subbed in when Nafa comes out, and he's not as good as Nafafunga, one of the best nose tackles in all of the nation, but as a true freshman, certainly not a bad substitute when you sub in those packages. Very good to see from him tonight. I thought Taniela Latu looked great again tonight. Itufina, he looked good. He got injured. Thought he looked good. Quincy Likio, I think he was the one on the fumble, and Lane was able to fall back on top of it. But just overall, pretty good performance that a team that had done a great job with no turnovers, at least from the quarterback, in the previous 3 weeks, did a great job of forcing 3 turnovers tonight single-handedly on that quarterback. The secondary is still a problem. We will say that. There was a lot of times that Lane had open opportunities, and it's not necessarily because he threaded the needle, it's because they were wide open. A couple of pass interferences here and there. That is something that teams will attack in the future, and it'll be very interesting to see teams who do not have Jack Lane at quarterback or do not have offensive lines not as suited to go against San Jose State in the future. But it was great to see Derek Odom's defense tonight. He said at the press conference earlier this week, I don't know if I'll pull up a clip here or not, depending on how energetic I am to edit this at 11:40 at night. He said earlier in the week, we're not concerned about turnovers. We know they're going to come. It's just a matter of continuing to execute our game plan. They did come tonight. It was very, very nice to see that. Yeah. Oh, no field goals were needed tonight. So there were 2 roughing the passer or roughing the kickers though. There was a roughing the punter, and then there was roughing the kicker. But point being, man, let Matthias Brown breathe a little bit. He's just got in, I think it was the very first PA2 that they had a little roughing the kicker incident. But all the PATs were made tonight by Matthias Brown. We've still yet to see what a field goal looks like for him. For all we know, Dennis Lynch will be back out there next week because they'll have another kicking competition. But good to see no need for that. Some execution in the red zone. If I'm not mistaken, San Jose State was 5 for 5 or 4 for 4 in the red zone tonight. It must be 5 for 5, but no. They were 4 for 4 because of the long Scudero touchdown. So good to see some execution from them tonight. And that was really one of the highlights. Is last week in Stanford, you did not see late game execution. And again, you got to go back to the Steve Chavez run. The Walker Eget hold on the read option to get that first down. It was just great to see late game execution from this team. Penalties. Coach Ken also talks about this in the post-game conference. Some stupid penalties in the first half. It was very nice that they got those changed up, but especially in that final drive going into halftime. It could have been tied going into halftime, and it just felt like San Jose State dominated this game. I would say for about the entire 60 minutes. Obviously, there was some point. I think as a San Jose State fan, some of you sit back and you're like, oh, here they come. I can already feel this game is about to be tied. So again, I cannot speak enough to how great that final drive was to keep New Mexico from getting the ball. But point being, there was some coming back in that game. There was some dumb penalties to allow balls to continue to move down the field. I almost had a graphic up that were going to be about stupid penalties. I can scrap that now. Beautiful for me. Beautiful for everyone because those penalties stopped. I'm going to need that more going forward because not every team is going to afford you the opportunities to get back into the game like New Mexico did tonight. But overall, much needed win. Just a much needed win. I saw people saying like your season is really in the balance tonight because of the 1-4 start and how difficult that would be going on the road right after. It's just difficult to get back from. You'd be, I think, the lone FBS school to not have a win over another FBS school if you did not win tonight. So it was very great to see. This offense is clicking. This offense, and again, I mentioned it was the very first thing I mentioned. The offensive line is really working right now. Walker gets getting the ball out. The offensive line is blocking for him, and that's not something that you showed me the first 2 weeks of San Jose State's season, even first 3 weeks, even against Idaho. There was still pressure coming about. I would not have said these things after watching those 3 games, so it's great to see the offensive line has improved so much so in such a short period of time. The defensive line, the pressures are getting there. We're going to see more about the secondary, but a great complimentary football game played tonight from San Jose State, and we'll get more and more out for you in the future. But yes, with that being said, thank you for watching. Comment down below how you thought this game would go. Comment down below how the future games for San Jose State will be going, and please comment and subscribe.